If the Locked On Network was putting together a top 100 college football players in 2025, how many players from USC's roster would make that list?
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you are watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, it's always going to be free, and I'm always going to appreciate your support. Starting in July, Locked On is going to start their own top 100 college football players, and they're going to release this in July. So from this top 100 list, the Locked On Network, they're going to be able to, pull together rankings like top 10 players in each conference, each position group, wide receivers, running backs, a bunch of different rankings. So each of us at the Locked On Network, each of the college hosts were asked to submit a list of their team's top 6 players for a ballot that will be voted on among the hosts, myself included, and eventually end up with the top 100 in college football. I thought it would be interesting to figure out, which players should be included, and then kind of where the line should be drawn. So I made mine a top 10 list. The 6 I submitted, and then kind of the next four in type of kind of thing. And so again, I thought it would be interesting to make this list, my own submissions, and then we can circle back when the list is actually released by Locked On, see where everybody ends up, so to speak. So here are the 6 names that I submitted, and again, in no particular order. Your list is probably going to differ from mine, but that's why we're here. We like difference of opinions. So again, in no particular order, I got Makai Lemon, Jacoby Lane, Elijah Page, Eric Gentry, Kamari Ramsey, Waymon Jordan. Those are my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, no particular order. Again, and if we expand the list to get to the top 10, I'll give you who the next 4 in are going to be. Now, since everything is kind of expanding, we could, if you want to do the next 4 out, we can do that as well. This is audience participation. Hit me up in the comment section. You want to find me. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it there. Reach out, hit me up on X, send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you can find me. Let's talk. I think Jacoby, Makai are no-brainers to make this list. They're 1A, 1B. You guys can choose who is ahead of the other on the roster. What I would say is this, if I was making the argument for Makai, if you were to say, all right, well, where does he separate himself from Jacoby? Makai also plays special teams. And if push came to shove, he could probably play somewhere in the secondary too. Remember, they tried that with him in his freshman year. Now, if Jeremiah Smith is thought of as the number 1 wide receiver in the big conference, I'm putting a focused. I'm selecting a focused Jacoby Lane, and I'm putting him in that same conversation. I get it, Jeremiah Smith, very talented dude. You're not going to get much of an argument from me, but I know what Jacoby Lane's capable of when he's focused, and this is his contract year. Depending on how much playing time Jacoby gets in those first 3 games because of the level of competition, through the first 3 games, I could see him with 6 to 7 touchdowns on his stat sheet, which is pretty much the same pace he was on last year at the end of the season, those last 3 games. He had 7 and 3. So why not? Especially when you're going up against Missouri State, Georgia Southern, on the road to Purdue. And Purdue's best defensive player isn't even on that roster anymore. I think most would agree when it comes to Eric Gentry. When he's on the field, he is USC's best defensive player. And if you're the best defensive player at USC, you probably are going to find your way. You should find your way into one of the top 100 college football players, you should be able to make that list. I've talked extensively about Eric's unique skill set. He's a one of one type of guy, right? 6'5", 6'6", whatever it is, 220, 25 pounds. He possesses that, combination of height and length and athleticism. Plays inside linebacker. I'm wondering, should we give him? He's got arms that are like vines that grow. So I'm wondering, should we give him the nickname I am Groot? I am Groot? I mean, he's got those vines for arms. Why not? I get it. There is only one Groots at USC, but this is singular. This is a specific character. I digress. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, definitely let me know. Rob Ryan, his new linebacker coach, he talks about Eric Gentry all the time, how he makes the unnatural natural. So when you look at everything that he does and what he was on pace to do last year before he missed the rest of the season with the concussion, he was on his way to an All-American season. He was the top linebacker in the Big Ten Conference, statistically. As far as Elijah Page, after getting his butt kicked on the scout team in 2023, Coach Josh Henson sent him there to get his butt kicked so he understands what it takes if you want to be the starting left tackle at USC. You got to bring it every day. Well, after that, he turned the page in 2024. He became USC's starting left tackle. He's a straight-up unit when you look at him. I mean, 6'8", 330 pounds. Doesn't look fat. Really athletic. Moves well for a guy his size. You look at him and you say, all right, first dude off the bus. Future NFL first-round draft pick. Last year, again, similar situation. He got his butt whooped against Michigan when he was going up against their defensive line, those NFL draft picks. But after that, Page kind of took off. He was on his way to looking like your left tackle, like somebody who's got a future in the NFL. So that's why he made my top 6 list. Then what I did is I took and the reason why I picked Page is I took a kind of a cursory look at the potential starting left tackles in the big conference. And everyone's kind of shuffling and looking around, save for a couple of teams. So if Page is the top left tackle in the Big Ten, automatically he qualifies as one of the best in the country, right? Right? I mean, you can't say the Big Ten conference is going to be void of left tackles. Please. What about Kamari Ramsey? Is he someone who should be in the conversation as one of the top 100 players in the country? There are a lot of good safeties in college football. A lot of them. I mean, heck, in the Big Ten alone, you got Caleb Downs, Ohio State. Xavier, Nwankpa at Iowa? I mentioned Purdue's best guy. He's at Oregon now. Dylan something. Can't remember his last name. You've got that young stud down in Georgia, KJ Bolden. Ramsey is probably not in the top 100 regardless of position. But I'll be curious to see where he ends up, where he shakes out when the position groups get broken down. So again, I was throwing him in there as I was looking for a player on the defensive side of the ball. And so far, I've got Eric Gentry as someone who definitely belongs in the conversation. Number 6, and this one is pure speculation on my part, Waymon Jordan. But he was the top running back in the JUCO ranks. He already has his own energy drink deal at USC. Yeah. If you're over there on social media, go look it up, man. He's already doing it. He's not going to show up on that list when it gets released, the Locked On 100. But I'll be surprised if he's not on that list or any similar type of list when the season's ending. He's going to be good. Now, again, I'm not sure why each team was limited to 6 names to be submitted. Those are the rules, so I played along. But again, I was wondering who would the next 4 in be if it was USC's top 10 players list. So here are my next 4. And it's based on potential, kind of what we started to see in the second half of last season. Right off the bat, Cameron Fountain jumped to mind. He's going to be a topic of national conversation as this year goes on. And if I needed to pick a player on offense, I immediately thought of the tight end position, Walker Lyons. I think he's going to have a breakout year, especially now with Mark Bowman, part of the 2026 class. And he's arriving next year. I think Lincoln Riley is going to hopefully make a concerted effort to show off that tight end position, how he likes to use it. So now you got 7, you got 8, right? You got Cameron Fountain, Walker Lyons. It gets a little bit more difficult now when you're getting into the number 9 and 10. Again, I'm looking at both sides of the ball, and I figure, all right, well, who can I get from the defensive side? What about Bishop Fitzgerald, the safety transfer from North Carolina State? He was a dude over there. Ball hawk, makes plays. And, not a knock against Achille Arnold, but I think this is actually an upgrade. So there's your number 9 player on USC's roster. Who's number 10? Who's number 10? Who haven't I mentioned yet? And I'm going on offense this time. It has to be Jaden Mayaba, right? It has to be. If your quarterback on your roster, I don't care what program, but especially at USC, if he isn't one of your 10 best players on the roster, you've got issues. You've got issues. I know the Big Ten is rebuilding at the quarterback position, for the most part. You've got Drew Allar returning at Penn State. You've got Luke Altmaier at Illinois. After that, though, it's kind of let's see what everyone has. So why not Jaden Mayaba? He has the chance to, if he comes in lean, or what Lincoln Riley said, if he trims the fat from his decision making, by all means, he's one of your top 10 players on that roster. His skill set is through the roof. Now, again, he's not going to show up on Locked On's top 100 players. I'd be shocked. But again, if they reevaluate halfway through the season, by then he might be, should be, better be, definitely better be at the end of the year. All right. So there you go. I told you who the 6 guys who I submitted. I gave you the next 4 in. Who were the next 4 out? If we were expanding the field to 14, who would be the next 4? So who are the first 4 out? In the next segment, I've got a bunch of notes with regards to the team, some recruiting, official visit news, as well as NIL news, so to speak. USC signed a new contract, not the one we wanted, but this is a good contract to sign. We're going to talk about the contract that still needs to be signed in the third segment. That will be part of my Friday rant. It won't be the entire Friday rant, but I'm going to be talking about it. All right, so 2 more segments to go, and we're going to get started here in just a second. The NBA playoffs. We're in the finals. Full swing. Oklahoma versus Indiana. I mean, every major TV market, right? Anyways, I'm sure Oklahoma and Indiana fans are happy. They're going to see a whole bunch of highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't-miss moments, and FanDuel is going to make it easy to stay in the game before the tip-off, as well as when the game's going live. They've got player prop bets, performance trends. If you're into that type of stuff, same-game parlays, the fans, you got more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players, which ones are in the game are showing up the biggest, right? If you're tracking their trends, who's making the 3-pointers, who's hitting their free throws, who's hitting the assists. If you've got a read on who's heating up, who's trending, why not back it up with the same game parlay? I mean, how could $200 in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? Probably a lot. If you're new to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 bonus bets. It's that easy. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. I brought up earlier in the week that Coach Trumaine Carroll, USC strength and conditioning coach, has the reins right now. On day one, just to remind everybody who might have missed the episode, but one of USC's defensive coaches told me after day one of the new strength and conditioning coach taking over, leading the charge, defensive coach said it was real. His point, it was real intense. Another player said, hey, he's no nonsense. He's pushing us hard. They just got done with their first week. Scott Schrader, my partner in crime over there at wearesc.com, he put up a little blurb kind of confirming what I told my everydayers back when Benny Wiley was replaced. Trumaine Carroll, it's all about hard work, discipline, accountability, consistency. There was some speculation that not everybody was on the same page, showing up when they were supposed to, on time, doing what they're supposed to, those types of things. Excuse me. Not saying there was any any favorites, but not everybody was being held accountable, I guess is the best way to put it. So right now there's more structure, there's more discipline. Everyone is being held to the same standard, bottom line. I mean, in fact, all the way down to the dress code, about discipline. So after the first week, one of the players told Scott, it's kind of like, man, I'm sore. So you want to hear those types of things. After week 2, week 3, they're not going to be sore anymore. They're just going to be better. They're going to be faster, stronger, bigger. By the way, side note, since we're talking about the team right now, I got word that Micah Banuelos, offensive lineman, he was asked to be Kenye Pepe's host during his official visit. That's huge respect right there. So props to his dad, who's an everyday watcher, listener of the show. Congratulations, your son earned it. Let's talk about recruiting, official visits, specifically right now. Jet Washington, the safety from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, he took his official visit to USC this week. And he got some nice things to say. He said USC checks off all the boxes. But when you're reading his feedback, again, when you're done watching this episode, get on over there to wearesc.com. Scott's got some early notes from the return. Anyways, when I read the story, I didn't get those warm and fuzzies from Jet, at least based on this early feedback. I believe he's off to Oregon now for his next official visit. He's already done Alabama. We'll see. I'm just not feeling it. Hope I'm wrong. Could be wrong. Probably. No, probably not. Just not feeling it. Would USC like to have him? Absolutely, without a doubt. But they've got other options available. I mean, USC, if they have to settle for Devon Benjamin, so be it. Pretty good player from Southern California. Really good player. Here's something else. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not. If I did, it bears repeating. I'm starting to get the feeling that Coach Lincoln Riley, he's moving on from Ryder Lions, or at least letting Ryder know that, hey, we've got other options. We want you, but we're not going to get caught up in the same game we caught up with Julian Lewis last year during the recruiting cycle. Right now, it looks like USC is focused on a quarterback by the name of Peyton Houston. He's from Louisiana. Really, really good. In fact, some might say he's the best quarterback in the class. We'll find out. I'm going to go check out his film. Peyton Houston from the state of Louisiana. Tell me what you think. One of the reasons why I think USC is kind of sending a message to Ryder is they asked him to move his official visit back to the regular season. USC wants to wrap this class up, and they'll hold a spot for Ryder, but they also, keep in mind, everybody has to understand this. Ryder does not show up to anybody's campus to put on a uniform. The earliest will be 2027. So, maybe this is Coach Riley and USC kind of just hedging their bet. making sure, hey, if Peyton Houston wants to be a Trojan, they're going to accept his commitment. And then it's going to be up to Ryder. You want to come in 2027? Look at our quarterback room. Huson Longstreet, Peyton Houston, and you. Not bad. As far as official visits this weekend, you got some uncommitted guys coming in. You got number one linebacker prospect target, Talanoa Ely. You've got wide receivers, Booby Feaster from Texas. You've got wide receiver Jalen Lott. You've got cornerback Peyton Dyer. I'll tell you right now, if USC ends up taking another wide receiver in the 2026 class, it's probably going to be Jalen Lott. And that's not a bad fallback plan at all. Great athlete. His sister runs track for USC. But again, it just kind of looks like Madden Williams, St. John Bosco, looks like he's locked in with Texas A&M. Van Spafford looks to be locked in with Georgia. So again, if USC is going to take another one, remember the name, Jalen Lott. Good player. Here are some of the guys who are visiting this weekend. Some of the committed guys who've already shut it down for USC. They're coming in. They're going to try and help close the deal, especially with Talanoa Ely. I mean, listen to these names. These are the guys who are committed, coming in this weekend. Cornerback, Elbert Hill, State of Ohio. I mentioned Kenye Pepe. Simode Kataoana, the number one edge player in California. Tom. Sean Alston, number one running back, State of Ohio. Wide receiver, Trent Mosley. Wide receiver, Roderick Tizeno. You got offensive lineman, Cannon Smith, coming in from Colorado. Josh Holland, St. John Bosco. You got the edge, defensive end player, Andrew Williams. So, yeah, USC is kind of bringing everybody in, putting that full core press on, saying, Talanoa, let's do this. Let's get it done. Let's shut it down. And if you need to wait till Father's Day to make your commitment, no one will be upset. And Dad will enjoy it. Not saying that's going to happen, but that seems to be the plan. He's planning to announce him on Father's Day. It's what we're hearing. Hopefully it's USC. As far as NIL, USC, everyone knows USC dove into the deep end of the pool. They are all in with NIL with the class of 2026. It started in the last class with Jakeem Stewart, but Mark Bowman has made a huge splash. No pun intended. Yeah. Now, the rest of college football is like, oh, USC wants to play NIL? Uh-oh. USC has unlimited resources when it comes to that. Most billionaires, I mean, you got Phil Knight up there at Oregon. He's got to save some money for those tariffs. Kidding. Well, maybe I'm not. But USC, they have financial resources that they can tap when they have to. And it looks like they're willing to open up their checkbook. And that's got everybody around college football kind of upset right now. Oh, my God. I mean, if USC is going to make it rain for a tight end, imagine what they do for the best quarterback prospect. Top defensive line guy. You know, they showed you. Jakeem Stewart got a pretty good NIL deal. I don't know if it's the same as Mark Bowman's, but it's pretty damn good. Looking at the numbers, it's about the same. We know that's good. So what did USC do? They said, we're going to put our NIL on steroids. They signed a 15-year deal with Learfield. Quote, this is from Jen Cohen. This is such a highly competitive time in college athletics. As we've been working to develop a roadmap for winning the new era, we're really prioritizing partnerships and being strategic about who we partner with across all areas. As we looked at the MMR space, Learfield's vision and leadership have so much more natural alignment with ours. She told that to the Sports Business Journal. Learfield said this, really, one of the reasons why this deal came together is it's about partnership. Learfield president of College Properties, Kim Demron, said, you have to have a partnership and work together. The things that were exciting for us was to be able to present NIL resources coupled with content and student athlete influencer marketing. There's no better market in the country to actually capitalize on media and entertainment than Los Angeles. End quote. So here's my Cliff Notes version of this, because I'm still gathering information. The Learfield group looks for ways to essentially maximize exposure, create more NIL opportunities. Look at it, think of it this way. It's like that boost feature on X, Twitter. You can pay to have your post seen by more people. USC is signing a contract with Learfield to get their student athletes more exposure, more opportunities. Learfield sits at the nexus of 150 million fan relationships that come through our two front doors of the business, including ticket buyers from, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, and a website or mobile app visitors for Sidearm Sports. The other name was Paciolan, Paciolan, whatever. The reach unlocks amplifying messages through social media, digital marketing, or connected TV campaigns. Digital activation of NIL deals delivers the perfect message to the right fan at the ideal time, 365 days a year, not just on game day. So that's what that is. Whatever it is, it's NIL on steroids. It's maximizing every potential opportunity. So maybe look to see USC athletes, on those ticket sale sites. Buy your season tickets now type of stuff. All right. That's what it is. We got one more segment to go. It's my Friday rant. And I got a couple of things I got to get off my chest. No freaking way should the college football playoff committee adopt the 5-11 model, which basically when the playoffs expand to 16 teams, you get one conference winner from the 5 major conferences, and then 11 at-large bids. That would be the dumbest idea in the world, because it's only going to encourage a watered-down regular season. I mean, think about this. If you think ESPN fluffs the SEC now, I mean, just wait till that format gets picked. You saw what happened with the basketball and baseball tournament selections. You don't think ESPN and the SEC will do everything in their power to get 6 or 7 teams in? I mean, ESPN and the SEC, they would literally put that, we play the toughest conference manifesto hype. They would put that thing on steroids. It'd be like a paid political advertisement during, election season. Here's what I would say. If the SEC decides they want to play 9 conference games, I'll reconsider it, but we know they don't want to do that. And USC fans, you shouldn't be behind that idea either, because it will all but guarantee USC versus Notre Dame, that series, it ends. It'll be dead. And let me say it again, so those of you who are sitting way back there in the Bob Uecker seats, so you can hear me. Telling Notre Dame they need to join a conference or else doesn't make USC's argument stronger. It doesn't. And neither does them telling Notre Dame they have to join the Big Ten Conference. That's a roadblock for USC. Remember, if you're getting 4 automatic berths, why do you want to put another team that could potentially take that spot? Well, USC gets to play Notre Dame. That's how. Well, some of you are complaining about the travel schedule. I got news for you. This has nothing to do with the stress of traveling to South Bend every other year. Nothing. This is all about you. This is all about making USC's path to the playoffs easier. Plain and simple. Bottom line. And every single time I hear a USC fan say, Notre Dame needs this game a lot more than USC does, now that, USC's in the Big Ten Conference, that game's just less relevant. Every single time I hear that, I swear to you, I want to reach through my computer screen. I want to slap somebody. Once again, and I hate saying this, But Coach Riley, USC, they had a chance to get out in front of this. Sound like they want this series to continue just as bad as Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. Just the other day, Coach Riley spoke, and he spoke on a wide range of topics with Pete Nakos from On3. But when Pete asked him, hey, Coach, you want to comment on the, that hot button topic about USC Notre Dame? This was Coach Riley's response. We will at the appropriate time. Are you? And you wonder why Notre Dame is winning the PR campaign. And every single day that passes, it makes USC look weaker and weaker and weaker. I'm going to remind everybody, Marcus Freeman said he wants to play this game whenever. He doesn't care. Beginning of the season, middle of the season, end of the season, it doesn't matter. USC, they won't say what their demands are other than we just want a one-year extension, until we can find out what the new playoffs are. We need to know what that format's going to be before we can go any further. What does that really tell you? Guess who looks like the fool at the end if this series does come to an end? Notre Dame's going to have all the receipts. Say, look what we said. USC's going to say, well, we tried. It just didn't work out. All right, I got that off my chest. I hope everybody's going to have a great weekend. USC's going to have a great weekend with official visits. I'm going to be back next week, 5 more episodes. We're going to talk about the recruiting. We're going to talk about those official visits and any other commitments that come down the pipe between now and then, if it happens. So don't forget, when you're done making Locked On USC your first listen every day, check out the Portal Show with Brian Smith. You can find him on YouTube as well. He'll get you caught up on everything that's going on. And then when you're done with the Locked On Network, get on over there to wearesc.com. A lot of content. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do.